Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ALS United Mid-Atlantic Goals podcast. My name is Tony Heil with ALS United Mid-Atlantic, and if you've listened to past episodes, you know that we've talked with people about different perspectives when it comes to ALS, from people living with ALS to caregivers, staff here, researchers, advocates. When it comes to ALS, there's so many topics to cover, and we're here to talk about all of them to help educate you and empower you so you can be involved in our ALS cause. Today, I'm really excited to talk with my friend Josh Hunter, who is living with ALS, and he was diagnosed a few years ago. We're going to talk about his diagnosis, what that means, his care, but more importantly, we're going to talk about our past week together, because Josh and I have been doing a lot together with professional wrestling, with research, awareness, and advocacy. So it's a unique conversation that we can't really have with everybody because no one has the life that Josh has. And I'm excited to share a little bit of it. So, Josh, thanks for talking today.
Yeah, it's good to be here and talking to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, we met last year at our Help and Hope event, the first one in 2024. So what made you come to that event?
Well, the from Penn at the time kept letting me know about the ALS United Association, and they also let me know that Jefferson specializes more in ALS. My neurologist at the time at Penn, he didn't know much about ALS, and I've been through a couple of doctors that just weren't for me, and I got pushed towards Jeff and the ALS United Association, and it's changed my life. And I was really down and out, and me and my girlfriend were super down and out about the ALS diagnosis and the progression. So we heard about the Help and Hope Symposium and signed up. We needed something else. We needed some light. So we found it, and it's been life-changing ever since.
Well, we appreciate that you're here. And there's a lot of great neurologists and doctors that cover a lot of diseases, and sometimes it's just about having the right fit. Our geography
Exactly
has Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, and some people will live in one city and go an hour to another place, or vice versa, just because you need the right fit for what fits for your personality and what you need.
Yeah, and before you find somebody like ALS United, it's tough navigating to there, and you got to really advocate for yourself. And once you get to that point and find people like you guys, it opens you up to a whole new world, and it's a lot less anxiety packed.
So we met at ALS, the Help and Hope last year, and you learned from some of our researchers. And you were diagnosed when? A couple years ago, right?
Yeah, about 4.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with type 4 juvenile ALS. It's the slower moving hereditary version of ALS. I was diagnosed with CMT when I was 15, which is called Charcot-Marie-Tooth. It's another neuropathy. It's similar, but not, in a way. And ALS is a bit more serious than CMT is, even though it's still serious. But I was re-diagnosed about 4.5 years ago that I have the ALS type 4. And that's what I've had the whole time instead of CMT. And I've had surgery for CMT. I had complete bilateral foot surgery on both my feet when I was 15. I didn't walk for like about 2 years trying to get back up to walking again. And luckily, I wrestled my whole life and boxed, and I got back on my feet quick and got back into wrestling my last year of high school, and it kept me going.
Yeah, I learned from first moments talking with you, you're really into physical fitness, fighting, sports, especially like wrestling and fighting, right? Like boxing, you said that you've been in that world for a while.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just liaison me into better into having ALS and having to fight. Every day is a fight. Just putting socks on or tucking, you can't tuck your shirt in or pull your, help getting dressed. It's a fight. And whoever's next to you is fighting with you. So it did prepare me in a way for some of this.
Yeah, well, it's really cool seeing the fighting that you've done together, and so since then you go to our ALS United Mid Atlantic, our treatment center at Jefferson Weinberg Center in Philadelphia, and you connected with
Yes.
people like Janie Etzkovitz, one of our social workers, and Gail Hausman, our nurse. Both of them have recorded with us recently on our podcast. Tell us what it's like to have a relationship with people like Janie and Gail when you have ALS.
It's it's life changing, you know.
Yeah.
They they really helped, point me in the right direction and get to the doctors that I really needed, and uh, I couldn't thank them enough. They were like angels that dropped down into our lives,
Yeah.
and it's been amazing ever since I've met them and the ALS United.
Well, I know that Gail and Janie have met hundreds of people impacted by ALS in their careers. And for all of them, I can just say Josh, and they know your name. Like they don't have to be like, "Oh, who's that?" I can say Craig, or I can say so many first names, and that's kind of the care and kind of respect that you really value when you're a person living with ALS, right?
Man, it was such a difference, you know. Say you meet a doctor and they're just very blunt and forward. That could scare you away from more appointments, or just people having manners and bedside manners and stuff like that. It matters, and they were there with open arms and understood what we were going through and helped us get equipment, and things that helped me get around the house. And we were stuck. We just did not know what to do. Everything was so expensive. Everything just hit so fast, and thank God I met them
Like you
and got a hold of
And
them.
you became a part of our ALS United Mid Atlantic family pretty quickly, which I always like that people just join and they're part of us. Like we all work together, which is wonderful. And you went to some events like the event we have at Longo Gardens with other ALS families. And then last year, we connected because I had an opportunity to work with All Elite Wrestling. And we're going to talk about our week in review in a minute, but our first time we met with them was at a television taping, a fight that they had here in Philadelphia, and where they kind of invited us in to go watch it with free tickets. And then they came to our annual celebration and met with you. We have you in our newsletter. How was that experience getting to see like those fighters? Because you've seen some fighters for real before, but it was kind of a fun time with you and me and your kids.
It was an unbelievable experience, and they were so like warm to us. They came and met us, and they had the ALS United Mid Atlantic banner up on the big screen, and just really great people, and their performance is crazy. It's just it took me out of me having ALS watching them, and it put me right there. And those guys are great. It's amazing what they can do with their bodies, and it's unbelievable.
And that reminds me, last year at the annual celebration, you were there as we recognized the Phillies for 40 years of working with us to strike out ALS. And while that money and awareness is great, like the ability to just forget about ALS for a little bit is also something you can't put a price tag on when it's fun, whether it's Longwood Gardens, professional wrestling, or baseball.
Yeah, it all matters, especially coming to the events with you guys. You meet people that are like you, and they become family right away, and you immediately care about them, and you pass good information to each other, and meeting people that will fight for the cause of ALS is amazing. It's
Yeah.
heartwarming. It really matters.
So let's talk about our week in review from last week. Well, there was a couple weeks ago now that this is uploaded. The first thing we did was you and I and your friend Jeff, who's great, he's been helpful a lot, and your daughter Phoenix, we got to go to the AEW pay-per-view Dynasty. It's a big event in Philadelphia, thousands of fans. What was that experience like bringing your daughter, who was really into the show?
uh, unbelievable, and to have her get that into it and idolize the women of wrestling, and to really see what goes into it. She was on her feet the whole time and screaming and yelling, "Pin him!" And all of a sudden, was her name Linda?
Yeah, Linda from AEW.
Linda from AEW comes up and asks if she can take my daughter to go meet the wrestlers and interview them on YouTube about their matches and stuff. And it was just an amazing experience for her. She's still talking
Yeah.
about it. You know, the last match was at 12:30, and she stayed wide-eyed awake the whole time and the whole way home. And she made it to school the next day, got her homework done, and then passed out for 24 hours. She partied, you know. She had a great time. And it's really important that she starts coming to these events too, because unfortunately, she was diagnosed with it 2 years ago. Also, she has the gene, and it's slowly coming out, but she doesn't really realize what she has yet. You know, we go to CHOP with her every 6 months, get her checked up, and we have a 504 letter for her schooling. So, you know, gym class is easier on her, or running the mile, and you know, it comes with learning disabilities too sometimes. So it helps out with everything. But her easing into these events, which could take people, some people that have ALS don't even know about these associations, and it would change their life. You know, her getting her feet wet and being with the best care possible is so important to me.
Yeah.
And coming to the event and being with people like you is super important. You guys do a lot for us.
It was really cool seeing the videos afterwards. She got to see characters like Prince Nana, and I'll admit I have his figure on my desk at work, and then she got to interview some of the big women stars, Athena and Harley Cameron. And when you saw those videos and you saw that they weren't just like being nice, but they were really into it with her as a dad, that must have been
Yeah.
really cool that they were treating her like she was a pro interviewer on the show.
I mean, she had smile from ear to ear, and her little baby dimple came out. I mean, she was turning red, and she just, but she seemed like a little lady, you know. It was great. It was they treated her really well, and you know, I'm like, when she left, she was like, "Whose house?" And you know, because of Nana
Yeah.
and stuff, she was like, "That's the guy." So she was just super excited, and she felt, you know, really welcome. You know.
Yeah, I know it means a lot to us who do awareness for ALS to know that the people like in AEW and the Philadelphia Phillies, it's great to have their support, but to know that it's sincere, to know that like these big stars, whether they are a person like Aaron Nola with the Phillies, or someone like those professional wrestlers or TV personalities, that they're not just doing it and saying hi and walking away, but that they really value our families.
Seriously, you know, when people come up to you and talk to you, you can tell when they're really sincere, and these people really care, and that really matters. You know, it gets us through the next day. It really does.
It's really awesome. And then, so speaking of the next day, basically just a couple days later, you joined us at our 2025 Help and Hope Symposium. We're getting those videos ready to put up on our website. And so, what did you see at our Help and Hope Research Symposium? What did you learn about with that event?
Well, I learned just meeting new people there that I haven't seen before. We've passed some really good information around about equipment and websites that provide equipment cheaper or more available for people like us and stuff like that. And that, I mean, that helps a million. And then I went to the research symposium because I have just recently signed on for the 2-year research program where I get the spinal taps of the medicine that's made off of my
Wow.
biomarkers. So I learned a lot about what I could be going through with the research, and I'm really excited to get that going. And just hearing the doctor from Hershey speak about what they're doing, I mean, it's amazing. It gives you hope about the future. You know, there's a lot of things happening, and we just need to keep more funding coming to keep this going.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
Dr. Simmons, who spoke about the value of a multidisciplinary clinic and his work at Penn State Health Hershey Medical Center, he's been there for about 30 years working with people with ALS. And for you and your family, when you come to an event like that and you know people have 3 decades of experience or others who have over a decade of experience, does that provide some comfort and help knowing that you're working with the real deal here?
Yeah, like I said, we were lost before we got connected with the ALS United in Jefferson and meeting doctors from all around the world. It's so comforting because, like I said, it's scary finding comfort in this. So these people really care and know what they're talking about, and there's nothing but progression.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you hope. It gives you a lot of hope.
So part of that event, the Help and Hope event, was about the collaboration we're doing with groups like our clinics, like Hershey Medical Center, Penn State Health, and the Jefferson Weinberg Center, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and also groups like ALS TDI who are represented to talk about their research. Now that you see the collaboration happening that ALS United is working on, what's that like for someone living with ALS to see that people are teaming together like a tag team for ALS?
I think it's needed more than ever now. Um, it's like having a million people behind you and having your back, and there's no greater feeling than that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find great feeling in that, having ALS, well, that means something.
Yeah.
You know, not every day, do I feel good. When I know who has my back, I mean, it's amazing.
Well, speaking of having your back and being there for each other, you were also there for us last year for some state advocacy in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, seeking continued funding for care and now research as well. Why is advocacy so important if you're impacted by ALS?
To get the awareness out, to get people to understand that we need these funds to keep stuff like this going, and to really have people wrap their heads around how people are living with this. We need help.
Mm-hmm.
This is most serious thing ever. But having people like hear us at the Congress building is very important. And I remember we were fortunate to have the representatives relate to us because their family members had struggled with ALS, and we really had heart to heart, and those people were great. They really heard us out, and we made a lot of progress from that. And I can't wait to go back and do more and advocate more and do something about this.
Yeah, we met with 2 state reps who have lost family members to ALS, Brian Cutler and Kyle Mullins. And there's a Republican and a Democrat. And you see that with ALS, it really crosses all boundaries. They both are working together and supporting, and they're working on getting funding for research now. And I'm sure it's really validating to know that your stories are not just going into the wind, that it's kind of it's leading to something.
It immediately does. That's what I've found. Whoever's helping, they're whoever sponsors us and helps, it immediately helps people right away. I'm anything. Just I was dreaming of getting that research done, and I signed up for it and met a bunch of criteria, and here I am. I'm very thankful for it, and it's good to know that.
Well, and then again about fighting, you and your friend Jeff, and we should talk about him because he's been by your side in your corner through all of this as well. You've known him for a long time. You're preparing for a big event this summer, right? In June?
Yeah, June 14th. Celebrity Boxing is holding a boxing event at Harrah's in Chester, and it's supporting the ALS United and awareness for ALS, and it's also supporting mental health awareness that night. And a guy named Damon Feldman is the CEO of this company, and he came up to me while I was working out at the gym one day, and he said, "I really admire you being here, and he asked me what was going on with me, and it blew his mind. And he said he would like to help. He would like to help out. So he has these big celebrity fights. He's fought Shaq before, and Lamar Odom, and Kim Kardashian. He's like the original, like the original WWF of boxing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's been doing it forever. And he came up sincere. It was like, I really want to help out, and I can relate to you guys because his mom was a paraplegic and got in an accident, and she fought through and did a bunch of things that was told that she couldn't do, and she became an artist, and she only could use her feet to draw pictures, and she graduated college while it was happening. And he said it was just nice to see me fight through it, reminded of her,
Wow.
and that brought a tear to my eye, and that's when I knew he was sincere with his heart. So big shout out to Damon Feldman, Celebrity Boxing. Come join us June 14th, me and Tony, with Ric Flair hosting, and my friend Jeffrey Chandler. He's going to be fighting that night for us also. And the thing with Jeff is he's an amazing boxer, and he grew up boxing, and his dad was Jeff Chandler. He was weight champion in the 80s, 90s, and one of the best boxers to ever come out of Philly. He defended his belt like 10 times in 5 years, and he was just an amazing boxer. So growing up with him, it's a treat, man. The guy's great, and for the past 5 years, he's been filming me and my progression with ALS, and he got me back in the boxing and in my wheelchair, and they especially work with me 2 days a week, and it's been helping me out so much. Mental clarity, physical. There's some feeling in my hands and places that have come back, and it's just been amazing. Therapy,
Hmm.
sometimes it's not always about your muscles in the gym; it's about the mental clarity
Yeah.
too. And yeah, so I'm just really excited about this, and I just want to thank both of them, for joining us in this fight.
It's going to be really fun. I'm excited for it. And I think, like you said, it makes such a difference when you're fighting for mental health. And we talk about that here. Obviously, Damon and his group have talked about that. They were even in the newspaper talking about mental health recently, which is
Yeah.
really a great story. Um, how important is it to you when you talk to other people with ALS and caregivers about looking out for your mental health and your mental strength?
Um, it's very important, but it's got to be approached differently because the people dealing with this differently, and you you got to softly speak about it. It's like, hey, what do you do? Or because sometimes I don't want to be like, well, this is what I do, and you should be doing that, and I want to know what their day's like first, and maybe I can suggest, this person specializes in, training people with ALS and strokes. I have a special trainer, and I like to tell people that if I feel like they're ready to hear
Hmm.
that, because there's different stages in your head that you go through with ALS. Sometimes you don't want to hear anything from anybody, and sometimes you need all the information you can get, and you're open, right? So it all depends on what you're going through mentally. It really
Yeah,
does.
and I feel like you're saying, it matters so much in fighting and in ALS and mental health to meet people where they are. Like, you don't bring someone into the gym and give them a 500-pound weight and say, "Here, take care of this." You gotta build it up to where they're ready to be, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's all confidence. Half of it's mental. If you could do anything, any type of movement that is good for you. Sitting around. For me, sitting around, uh, I get weaker. My shoulders get weaker. Everything. So I must keep working out until I can't. Or who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. So I like to be as strong as I can mentally and physically.
So we're really looking forward to the event with Ric Flair on June 14th. That's my birthday weekend, so that's an exciting gift for me.
Happy
I don't know.
birthday.
Maybe I can't get the Switch 2, but I can get to hang out at this cool event. And so when you see that, do you think you could take Ric Flair? Because he's about 80 years old. He's had a few strokes and heart attacks. I think maybe you could probably take him on. I don't want to like cause a fight there, but um, he might be able to chop your chest and then take you out too.
I would happily take a chop from Ric Flair any day. He's a legend. Hey, if he wants to battle a guy in a wheelchair, I'm all ready for it, you
I've
know.
seen some crazier
But
things in pro wrestling, so anything's possible.
if not, we could take care of pain management
Yeah.
together.
I think that Ric Flair, maybe he could be in Jeff's corner sometime, and he could be Jeff's manager and shout out some woos while Jeff is beating somebody up in the corner.
Oh man, it's gonna be great. These are the shows that Damon Feldman provides. They're epic, and the promotion is so great. So I wouldn't be surprised if any of that happens. It's great there. It's gonna be a great time. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that, and then you're also going to keep participating in advocacy soon. You're going to add your voice to talk with more legislators. We're working on some projects to boost ALS care and research here in Pennsylvania. How are you hoping to use your story to do that?
Well, I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write my story kind of like short and give a speech, and I'm gonna have my daughter write a speech
Wow.
too. And we're just trying to build. We're just trying to get the help we can so we can build more memories as a family as much as we can. Nothing's promised with ALS, so everything helps.
Yeah, because the thing we know from people, whether it's Ric Flair or a member of Congress or state legislator or a Philadelphia Phillies star like Bryce Harper or whomever, they're real people. Sometimes it's hard to forget
Real
that these stars in our lives are real people. A lot of them are dads themselves, and they feel that impact when they see someone like you and the story you bring. Like your muscles and your punches are powerful, but your story's even more powerful.
Thank you. I wish I didn't have this story, but I do, and I just try to surround myself with great people, and hopefully great things happen. You know.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of great people around you, whether it's Melissa and Phoenix and your kids, and also Janie and Gail here. So please, if you're listening, check out some of those podcasts and videos we have from them. And then the other great people like Jeff and the stars that we've met that have really lifted up your story. So you have a lot going on the next few weeks with your life and with ALS. So not just ALS, but with your life. Um, tell us how this is motivating to keep you going, like really boosting, hopefully it's boosting your positivity and seeing some good things in this world, which we can all sorely need.
Of course, with everything that has been going on with the elections and all the negative stuff about both sides.
Yeah.
To have all this stuff going is a light. It's light. It's hope at the end of the tunnel, and hope is motivation, and that's what we need. Any anything positive helps. You could sit here and dwell on ALS, or you could do something about it. You could be a part of things, even if you can't do much. Just giving skin samples, blood samples for research, little things like that help, or just coming and hearing what we have to say at a Help and Hope Symposium, and it's really life changing. And I push for all of it. I really do.
ALS is something that can bring people together, even if they have such divisions. Like one of them is an Eagles fan and one of them is a Cowboys fan. They can still come together for something greater than themselves.
Of course, and having my partner there with me, it helped her out a lot too. My girlfriend Melissa, like I said, when I was diagnosed, she was diagnosed
Yeah.
also. That's what she would say, and this gives family a lot of anxiety relief, and knowing that more people are there to support us. It brings tears to our eyes, but at the same time they're happy tears. You know what I mean?
And Melissa's in your corner, and I'm sure she can reach out to Janie and Gail here at ALS United Mid-Atlantic, and they'll kind of give her some tips or some resources so that she can get a break or she can just be validated, and it helps her live her life as best as possible.
Yeah, I mean, because of them, I have somebody that comes in and helps at 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning. She's an amazing help. She helps my braces on, helps me get dressed, helps me get in and out of the gym, in and out of each machine every day, and that's because of the ALS United pointing us in the right direction. And you know, mental health. You can call them about mental health if you really just can't kick what's going on and can't get out of your head, and you're really scared. You can call them. And what they did for me is direct me to one of the best therapist I've ever had in my life.
Mhm.
Her name's Denny Whalen. Denny Whalen, and she was a nurse for 20 some years, and also has been working with therapy for kids and working with the ALS United Mid Atlantic Association for the last 10 years. So not only does she get the physical part of ALS because she understands it, but she also understands uh, the people and the mental part of it also. So I talk to her once a week because this leans on whoever has it. It leans on them, and I suggest reaching out to Janie, you, Gail, and just the ALS United Association. If you're scared about anything, or any doubts about this, just pick up the phone and call.
And I really appreciate you saying that, because I know that, especially for guys like us and men in general, sometimes it's hard for us to ask for help, but it's such a strength to be willing to ask. And just like in pro wrestling, it's a strength to be able to tag out sometimes. And then you're able to get the hot tag in, as they say in pro wrestling, and that's how you win matches.
Yeah, I mean, and those guys before they're pro wrestlers, they're sacrificing their bodies to get to that point to entertain, and they're fighting for their lives every day. So hats off to all you guys. Thank you.
I will say it was a bit odd booing wrestler Wheeler Yuta after he was so nice to us. Taking pictures with you.
I didn't boo him. I like the heels. I like the bad guys. It's just what I like, and he'll always have my cheer.
Yeah.
Just like I cheered for who was it? Shoot, Chris
Yeah.
Jericho. That was amazing to see. He's 57 years old,
Mhm.
and he's up there flipping off of 30 feet onto people and helping us at the same
Yeah.
time. Come on. Doesn't get any better than
Yeah,
that.
you don't want to boo people who you know are good people at their heart. Like, it's hard to do that.
Nah.
There's a lot of good guys out there that's good to know they're on our side. And again, whether they are whatever athletes they are, whether they are your friend Jeff and Damon with the celebrity boxing, whether it's pro wrestlers, whether it's the Philadelphia Phillies, we know there's a lot of people who are really putting their muscle into the ALS cause, and you are too. Josh, thanks for all you're doing with advocacy and raising awareness. I look forward to advocating with you in the weeks and months and years to come.
Tony, I'm so glad we met. Thank you for everything, and thank you for having me.
Great.
It's been great.
And if you're listening, please make sure to like and subscribe this podcast, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes. Share the links. Make sure to give a review, because that helps boost our awareness. The more awareness we can get, the more that we can do things for our families like Josh and his family and others living with ALS. Visit our website at alsmidatlantic.org to learn more about how you can donate, volunteer, and advocate, or just to receive the services you need. Josh, thanks so much, and I will see you very, very soon.
Thank you very much. I'll see you again.